Alrighty guys, good afternoon and happy Sunday. Today I'll be showing you guys how to do an oil change on my daily driver, which is a 2018 Volkswagen Tiguan with the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine made by Volkswagen, obviously. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible, no BS. Should be pretty easy and straightforward with this vehicle, so let's get right into it. So normally this vehicle calls for OW20 that meets VW 508, 509 specifications. But given the fact that it has almost 200,000 kilometers and the engine is tuned, so it's under more stress, I'm making the switch to OW40. This is VW 502, 505 approved, so it is still acceptable to use in the engine and will actually benefit this vehicle more compared to the OW20 that it was designed for. Forgot to mention we got the Hengst oil filter, our oil filter removal tool, torque wrench for the oil filter, new drain plug, so should be pretty straightforward. So before I get into the actual oil change, I thought I would give you guys a quick explanation as to why I'm moving away from the factory recommended OW20 oil and going with OW40 instead. And a lot of that comes down to my driving style and the fact that this is now a high mileage engine that is also tuned and more worn in. Most Volkswagen owners and enthusiasts know that OW20 is mainly used for emissions and fuel economy, but obviously as engines get older, internal clearances naturally increase with wear. So I figured this engine would benefit more from an oil that stays a little thicker at operating temperature, which is why I'm switching to OW40. Obviously everyone has their own opinion on oil choices, but my Tiguan is close to 200K as I mentioned, and it still does not burn any oil whatsoever, which really shows that frequent oil changes make a difference on these engines. I also know someone with a 2018 Tiguan like mine running 5W40 who's still on the original engine at over 550,000 kilometers. So that definitely gave me some confidence in making the switch to OW40. Okay, let's get right into it. So engine cover off, just pulls right off, really easy. You want to take the oil cap off as well for better flow, and you're also going to want to get this dipstick out. It'll just help the oil drain a little bit quicker and easier. Alrighty, oil drain pan is under the drain plug. Oil pan is right here. So first step, take the plug out. Pretty simple. Not going to film this part given the fact that I will make a huge mess if I do that. So I got my little tool and I'm going to take the plug out and let the oil drain for a little bit. Engine oil is draining. Going to let it do that for about 10 minutes. I didn't make a mess this time, thankfully. And I'm gonna go replace the oil filter right now. Okay, oil is almost done draining. You can see the engine's still hot with the steam that's coming out of the oil cap there. But I'm gonna take the oil filter off, 32 millimeter socket. Make sure you have a rag or some paper towels to catch the oil that might or might not spill out of there. And keep the drain plug off while you're doing this to let all that extra oil drain out. I don't know if you can hear that, but after I removed the oil filter, a lot more oil came out. It was up to about here. So that's why it's super important to leave that drain plug off until you remove this oil filter. Otherwise, all that old oil will not drain out of your engine. Okay, my oil change video for the Beetle, I didn't show how to do this, but to take the old oil filter out, it's very simple. It literally just pulls out just like that. You can go ahead and dispose of your old filter. Make sure you remove the O-ring. I'm just gonna use some needle nose pliers, but this guy right here, because you need to replace the O-ring every time. There you go, that comes off pretty easily. Old O-ring off. I'm gonna pause this so I can give the oil filter housing a quick wipe down. Anyways, new oil filter. Always use the best quality stuff. Hengst is the stuff you wanna use. Mann is also good. I try to stay away from Fram or any cheap options, if that makes sense. So new filter goes on. You're gonna see me struggle putting this O-ring on. You should put a bit of used oil on the O-ring just to make things a little easier for yourself. And then just slide it on there to your best abilities. Make sure it's all seated properly. And there you go. New oil filter is ready to be installed. You know, it's also a good practice to check your old oil filter for any metal shavings, check between the pleats. You know, this is a high mileage engine and everything is looking good. I'm not seeing any metal shavings, so That means we're good. Okay, oil filter has been snugged on nicely. Gonna torque it down to, calls for 25 Newton meters, which is about 20 foot-pounds of torque. There we go, right on the money. Very important thing to remember with these cars, they are single-use plastic drain plugs. I highly recommend getting a new one every time because if you reuse the same one, you risk having your oil leak. So pretty simple. Oil's done draining. Stick it back in, turn it until it clicks, and we are good to go. Once it doesn't turn anymore, she's all sealed up. Okay, everything has been put back together. We are ready to fill the engine with oil. This car takes 5.7 liters or roughly 6 quarts, so this should be the perfect amount. 4.73 liters plus 1 liter will get us right at 5.7. So I'm gonna put this all in right now. And that's the last of it. I put the small bottle in first because it was easier, and now I'm just trying to get every single drop of that good fresh oil. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the engine, let it run for about 30 seconds, get the new oil circulating, and then I'm gonna shut it off and check the oil level to make sure it is at the proper level. Okay, car has sat for 5 minutes. You can check your oil level, give it a wipe. Right on the money. Good to go. As long as you're in between those lines on the higher end, of course, then you are good to go. Okay, forgot to film this part since I already reset the service reminder message, but if you go back to my Beetle oil change video, it's the exact same process. Press and hold the trip odometer button here. Simultaneously press the start stop button. It will ask you if you'd like to reset your oil maintenance reminder. You click yes, and it's simple, easy to do. Alrighty, that concludes the oil change for this vehicle. I hope anyone might find this helpful when doing their own oil change. It is very easy. Save yourself some money. Total, this cost me about 75 bucks for the filter, the oil, and the drain plugs. So much cheaper than at the dealership. Hopefully this helps. Have a good day, guys.